I look out for when it comes to talking to people on here is you look at the people that would create the big rooms that can go into other people's rooms. I thrived personally off of the chaos. I found it exciting. I would let people fucking headline me all the time. I would be put in a hot seat for hours, like when this, years ago on this app, where, tens of thousands of people would literally cycle through the fucking room. You have 1,000 plus people on the fucking, that are viewing it live. It's just like, show us what you're fucking made of. You don't see chumps like fucking Roger ever doing that shit. So I just had zero respect for motherfuckers like this. You either do it like, if you can only do it hiding behind a pussy ass mod badge, then I'm sorry. It's like, that's not, you're somebody I just don't respect. And so he's fucking worthless, in my opinion. And he's a fat fucking loser that does not have a good career, no income, that's...
He really got to you, bro, huh? Damn, I'm sorry I made you feel like that. That's like, he really fucking hurts
I know,
your feelings.
Amazing. It's a bitch that always interrupts. Like, this white trash bitch is always doing this shit.
You really got to.
Oh, she wants to come right back up. Can you tell me why you're not white trash?
Come on, you're kind of tripping.
I'm tripping. Why are you talking like a Negro? Amazing. You watch, but she'll interrupt me. Right. She is white trash. Yeah, and then like with Roger. So here's a weird thing with him. He opens up this room today, and he's like, "You're still irrelevant." Amazing. So, okay, let's look at what happened here. You had healthy debates. Now you had Bren who opened up rooms. Way more people would go into the rooms when Bren was around. You had Roger. Despite what I say about Roger was 10 times, 100 times fucking better of a mod than you ever were. Roger was somebody who was actually a fairly decent mod. He was an annoying bully. However, he would let conversations flow. He wouldn't have to like stop you every 30 seconds to say, "Oh, hey, I gotta give a shout out to this person. Oh, you know what? This person, it's like a sister from another mother. It's, oh, this person, one of the smartest people in the app. Oh, this woman, oh, she's so beautiful." Like, he never did that. Like, Roger doesn't do that shit. Roger did not feel compelled to give, like, his 2 cents after every other fucking speaker spoke. He never did that. Now, this motherfucker in his last room just said he goes to a psychologist every, or a shrink, or therapist, whatever, every twice a week or something like that. Now, you have to understand, like, somebody with his traits, these are personality disorders, like, not obviously antisocial and narcissistic personality disorders, cluster B personality disorders that are lifelong, they're persistent. And they're very stable when it comes to their traits. People like, and you can look this up, when it comes to treating these disorders,
this motherfucker.
highly resistant to treatment. And it's not just that the people themselves are resistant or actively resistant, but also their brain is wired in a way that they can't really unlearn it. It's like teaching a dog to become a cat when it's already was raised around dogs. You can't really unlearn that. But yeah, he was saying all kinds of like stupid shit, and I don't remember what he was saying. He's saying like, "Oh, the haters are gonna hate," or "Oh, you're still irrelevant." Motherfucker, you had Bren when he had the rooms. He had 100 deep in that room. When Roger had healthy debates, the room was always popping. Look at your goddamn, look at your fucking stage now, dude. Like, it's fucking, it's horrible.
Wait, what happened to that house?
Well, basically, Roger does what he always does, or not Roger, excuse me, JB JB ends up getting himself onto platforms. He tries to get a stage or get on stage with a larger platform because he can't earn an audience on his own. And so he basically he ended up muscling out a Bren. I don't know what was going on behind the scenes. There was a fight. Then Roger ends up losing losing his admin privileges. He's gone. Then I guess like Rohan, from what I've heard, and maybe it's not true, like he's on in it with him. And so now he's like the only guy really with the keys to open up healthy debates. Now he has like 30,000 fucking people that would that can come into his room. But like it fucking died as soon as he took it over.
Wait, so it's only Rohan and JB?
I think there may be other people. They were the only active people, but Rohan doesn't make rooms.
I'm sorry, but some of those mods are a little insufferable over there. Rohan being one of them. That fucking woman being one of them. Oh my god.
Kelly was like they were like so Roger, kind of like me and Mon, we were like a power couple. Roger and Kelly were a power couple.
You guys are the power couple.
Yes,
Huh?
we were.
Yeah, they are, man.
But I would say this, the thing is though, is like, even the difference between somebody like JB and I do give Mon a lot of cred, which I don't want to dive into it really, but like, we were people, like I, for the most part, created my own fucking space. I didn't have to dick suck, get a bean on somebody else's space. And for those of you who remember back then, I was crowd surfing or room surfing for like a couple of weeks. And then all of a sudden, within a couple of weeks, I was like, Clubhouse famous, which it doesn't really mean anything.
Well,
But, in other words,
you're a racist wannabe white man.
Justice!
And so,
How is he gonna be a wannabe white man?
the black people were the ones that, to be fair, the black people were the ones that kind of like propelled me
Yes,
to
we know.
Clubhouse famous. Yeah, okay.
People love anti-blackness. There you go. What's next?
But the black sphere on here is kind of fucking.
God damn.
Without black people, you wouldn't be shit.
That's a fact.
So, okay, Justice, not, I don't know, have to move you down, like, Jesus Christ. But, with that being
Come on,
said,
censor me, white boy.
oh my God.
Justice!
This isn't even about, like, white versus black, and you're just, like, making it about that, like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, so, here's my whole thing to JB. Because, he made, like, his room title, and he was dropping these little hints, like, amazing. Because I say that. And, so he was taking his little shots at me. So you're irrelevant. Here's the weird thing, is he says, if you don't have haters, you're not doing things right. Okay, that the child molester that even like the worst of the worst in prison, they beat to death or strangle, they're not hated because they're jealous. Jeffrey Dahmer's not hated because people are jealous. People largely that do crimes like you, Jay, where you literally you say you're a talent agent, and you have a modeling position for them, and you let 50 to 60 guys fucking rape them, or excuse me, have sex with them, and you keep all of the goddamn money and tell them. And so Madison maybe she doesn't know this, but this is public knowledge, so I'm just gonna go ahead and share it.
Are you talking about the room today? Because by the time I got in there, they weren't talking about that. They were talking about others.
Oh, no. I don't think you, like, so when it comes to Jay, he had to do years in prison. That's why after he got out of prison, here, you have to look at what he did. This isn't his first crime. He was on probation from the early 2000s. He ended up, like, stealing it was, depending on how you look at it, $100,000 to $200,000. But here's the original. here's the original story. It made national news at the time because it was so deranged and sick. Like, he tries to make, like, oh, I just slipped up. I just wanted to con these women and force, like, 50 to 60 men sleep with them and threaten them that, like, hey, I'll tell your family, I'll tell everyone you love, I'll tell them how you're a dirty fucking whore. You just shut the fuck up, stay in the room, yada, yada, yada. He kept all the fucking money. I mean, I don't know. But he's a changed man. But if you look at some of the other receipts, if you go on to duckduckgo.com, you'll see that he started a Model Mayhem account. And it said, just look up, I won't dox him here. I'll just say this. He made an account like the year or so after he got out of prison, and it was like, looking for women not going to make you do sex work or some stupid shit like that. Sex acts, I don't remember. But and it was like right after he got out of prison. And just this year, he made like a fucking, it's like next level content creator, and it's basically, he's looking for, this was the weird part. Like, actually, let me look at the verbiage he was using, because it sounded like super, like, escortish. I'm gonna look it up.
I don't know. He's always seemed cool to me, and I always enjoy his rooms.
He's a kiss ass. I know. I kind of fell for it. Too. And at first, so like you had a black woman on here who was she managed the content creators on here, and the ones that were actually being monetized from Clubhouse themselves.
Hold on. You guys fell for whatever Jay was doing?
Yeah, I was rather retarded.
With his interpersonal skills?
Well, hold on. And so, this woman was saying, like, dude, this guy, like, do not let him in your fucking rooms. Mom was saying, dude, this guy is a goddamn creep. And it's like, well, I'm feeling him out. He hasn't done anything to me yet. But it was basically once I saw him get a mod badge in healthy debates, and while he was grifting off of the October 7th shit that happened in Israel, that I was just like, this guy is so unwell. And that's when I ended up calling him out to his face. He did not like the fact that I did that to him on a stage. But regarding this one, next level content creators, model and concierge services. Amazing. What does that mean? I don't know.
Is this new, Pepe?
That's an escort service.
Pepe, is this
Yeah,
a
it
new
sounds
one?
like an this was created in June 14th, 2024 is the filing date in the state of Florida. But his P.O. box, all of that address, the address comes back to Brooklyn, New York. But I can't help but think, like, okay, this guy would like scam people doing. So I doubt he was creative enough to come up with this, even though it is pretty harebrained, like this scheme on his own. But it's just weird.
Pepe, I'm not the biggest fan of you. I think we know this. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you're the biggest fan of me. But we in solidarity on this one. I've been telling people for the past couple months that this dude is bogus as hell. And this is before. I don't even be on no docs and shit. I don't give a fuck about people's personal life. Let me be real with y'all. We probably ain't gonna never encounter each other in real life. So I don't get caught up in that shit. But when somebody revealed that information to me, because he had been talking about he'd been to prison, and that's kind of like how he be trying to connect with black people, saying he had been to prison. The prison, school, the pipeline shit is real. So he tried to use language like that to think that, hey, he down with black people. But like, nah, I started to just listen to some of the double-mindedness in his talking points. Honestly, I peeped this really around the election last year when when I first really started chopping it up with him, it was in the Kamala Harris type spaces. He was super pro Kamala. Then somewhere around September of last year, he just flipped the script and started shitting on Kamala and the Democrats. So I started calling him out about that. That was the first time we had issues. But again, he wasn't like in control of those spaces. He started being in control of those healthy debate stages, and then that's when me and his issues started arising. I would say things, man, that is no way that you could say what I'm saying is anti-Semitic. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Criticizing the nation, the state of Israel is not anti-Semitism. Like, I'm not gonna let nobody run with that narrative when I'm speaking or when we talking like geopolitics. I got great respect for the faith of Judaism, but Judaism and Israel are not synonymous.
No,
in my
I get what
opinion.
you're saying, and I would say this: he's somebody who did, like, this is a guy who's not Jewish,
Yeah.
and then.
Oh, he's not Jewish?
No, like a couple months after October, so he started grifting with the Jews, like, really hard, and he was saying, like, hey, if any of you guys got a problem, if you guys feel unsafe anywhere, just give me a call. I'll show up. I'll be this protect. But like, he's not gonna do shit. And he's a frail old man. Like, he's fucking worthless. But he would do this shit. He can play this bravado like online in a weird way. And I'm not somebody who tries to look macho online. I understand, like, people will, like, listen to me. They're probably like, dude, you sound like you're fucking 20, maybe. And, I don't, like, act like I can, like, I'm this tough guy, which I just think, if you try to act like a tough guy online, you're probably just a pussy, in my opinion. Because, any of the quote-unquote people I would look at as tough guys, they don't go around online, like, acting like tough guys. I mean, it's kind of fucking given once you learn about them. But with that being said, he's doing this grift. Then he identifies as a Jew. He told me he's a Jew, and I was like, oh, really? And, sure enough, I'm talking to Jews on Clubhouse, and they're like, no, dude, he's not a Jew. No, absolutely not. And, he's also, and here's the really weird thing. He said, you calling me out? Like, look, this motherfucker came on here with this real name, right? So you can, like, look at the relatives. If you look him up, you can look at the relatives of all of his family, young and old. I do not see one Italian name. Literally zero Italian names. Now, just you understand, Pepe, that when you go through Ellis Island, that they misspell your name. It's like, there's not even a K in the fucking Italian alphabet, but no, I don't think that fucking happened, dude. Because there's literally, okay, if you're Italian, where is, like, the one person with an Italian first name or an Italian last name in your whole fucking family? Italians don't name their fucking kids Jason. Okay, let me get that fucking clear. Alright? Just like they won't name them Tyler, Josh, Tad, whatever the fuck gay wasp name that other, Anglos will name their kids. They don't do that. So, like, you're obviously faking the fucking funk. Where's the Italians in your family? You fucking poser. Like, you just, like, everything about him is a fucking lie. It's so, and I know it sounds like minor in a way, but it's just like, I have to call it out. It's bullshit. And, dude, and I would say, like, I did a whole room on him where I aired out a lot of this bullshit. But what I am curious about was in the last room, this fucking degenerate had to live in, for 6 months in a homeless shelter, which I would say good. You gave a review for your lawyer where you said you were looking at 25 years. Obviously, you didn't get hit with the rape charge, or whatever the fuck it was that you were originally charged with, but, why? I don't know, you had to live with a bunch of other people that were unsafe to be around. You probably deserve to live around them, to be honest with you. Yeah, I mean, women do not deserve to live around you. I'll just say that.
Did he well, how the hell did they kick Bray out and put that guy in? That guy had just like just saying positive things all the time, but never really getting too deep at anything. Being super like non-racist, like he was like a morning coffee type guy.
Who are you talking about?
Talking about Jay.
Yeah, Jay. Jay can't take. See, the problem with people like Jay is that he cannot give an original thought. Now, I think it's not only because he's dumb, but it's like also because his goal is to try to win over people in order to gain clout. Which I like. This is the weird thing about him, though, is like, okay, dude, when I first came on this app, I had clout, bitch. Where were you? Motherfucker, there's no clout on this goddamn app anymore. You stupid motherfucker. I'm literally making fun of you because it's fun. There is no clout. That's why all of the talented content creators left. Your dumbass was never a content creator. Name any goddamn room where people came to listen to Jay speak. It never fucking happened. People would go to Lou Fax rooms, they go to Whack 100's rooms. We can go back to, the fuck is his name? Mont's not here. There was this guy in Atlanta, him and his brother, the Roosevelt.
Freddie.
Yeah, we can go back to, we can look at Ion. We can look at all of these fucking people that could actually carry a fucking room. And then, we look at somebody who, he doesn't carry a room. He just, introduces people, flatters them, lets them give their brief opinion, tells them to hold on. So he has to flatter somebody else. Then he has to fucking, give his stupid fucking worthless take. This guy's trash.
No. If he wasn't, convicted of raping and pimping and all that shit, it's a whatever morning talk show.
No, it's not even. Morning talk shows are more interesting to listen to. He doesn't have that down even. He's not somebody. But here's the real deal. It's he probably thinks he could be a content creator at some point in his life. I got a talent for this. I got a natural talent for this. No, motherfucker, you leech off of people, go onto their stages. You ended up squeezing other people out by being a manipulative turd that you are. And then you end up being able to open up rooms. That's not because of your talent that people want to hear you. No.
How did he squeeze it out? I don't understand this.
I don't want to get into it, but when it comes to somebody who would actually be given a contract, first of all, let's assume you were talented, but you were not. Because people come to healthy debates because they're used to coming to healthy debates. This is where, the primarily white audience that's still left on this app that likes to have conversations will go. Roger was a much better, I give Roger shit because he's kind of a bully, but Roger was 10,000 times better than JB when it came to holding spaces. He actually let debates happen. He was not trying to control the goddamn room and the narrative and just try to self-aggrandize the way this motherfucker does. I put JB or Jay in a completely different basket than Roger. Roger, I think he had his moments. He was a dick. He was a bully. But at the end of the day, I don't look at Roger as a threat or somebody who's inherently bad. I just think he's kind of been an asshole. But JB, I put it in a totally different basket. This guy is, he's a fucking snake. His brain is wired that way. He can't help but be that way. And the only thing I would say is he keeps on running with this fucking narrative that I somehow have, I was doxing people. I'm a doxer. Bro, I said $1,000 bitch. Find the goddamn recording, you stupid motherfucker. You see, here's the thing. Hold on. Here's the difference. Okay, you try to go at me with narratives that are false. You never had the proof. I trolled you with the fucking truth, motherfucker. That's why it stings, you stupid bitch. Let's talk about your goddamn teeth. Are those fucking dentures or are those really shitty veneers? I'm going to guess they're fucking dentures.
You can't fault the guy. Okay, someone who's been in prison, you can't fault a guy for having veneers or fake teeth. You just can't do that. Bro,
Well, I have crowns. I have crowns and I have a veneer. Like, but I boxed and like hockey players. A lot of people have they do this shit. But with him, but what my shit looks natural though. What I'm trying to ask him.
This discussion is none of my business, so I'm dipping. Thank you, Pepe.
Amazing.
God bless you.
Get the fuck on, nigga.
Fuck on.
So I would just say this, you know, motherfucker, do you have horse teeth? Like those horse teeth of yours? Are those fucking dentures, or are those crowns, or excuse me, veneers? Something tells me they're probably dentures, not veneers, because you're poor. You live in a fucking dump. I already know that. I love it. Mine. What is the name of that fucking gay ass idea you stole from Sig? Fuck, let me look it up. Masculinity mindset. That's what it was. Masculinity mindset. Once again, there's nothing masculine about you, you fucking bitch. That is literally why. Why are you moving? And this is another thing I've been meaning to ask. Why are you moving to Houston? Why is that? Does it have anything to do with you not being able to afford to live by yourself? You don't have a business or a job right now. I understand you created next level content creator, but you're obviously not making money doing this. So where's your money coming from, you stupid faggot? Where's it coming from? Fucking poser. How are you masculine? How are you not masculine enough to not fight the urge to take advantage of young women and like literally slut them out and take none of their money? You know what I think would have been really funny? Is that if you actually came across a real pimp, something you couldn't do, and he took his big 6'5" hands, black hands around your white cracker neck and he squeezed the goddamn life out of you. That would have been funny. And you know what? The world would be a better place. You wouldn't exist anymore. I'm not advocating for harm, but I think that if a pimp would have done that to you, strangled the life out of your fat, pudgy, denture-wearing ass.
Wait, was he molested as a kid? Because I'm fucking...
Yeah, he was raped as a kid. At least that's what he's suing people for, but he's a con man.
Yeah, okay, I see this, so you Google his name.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's what I saw when I Googled it. I don't know, that's a claim. But I get it, I mean, well, to be fair, like, I think pedophiles should, like, I don't want to get banned because, you know, if I say what should happen to them. But do I necessarily feel sorry that it happened to Jay? Not really. Because I do think he's such a pernicious, dirty little piece of shit.
Well, that could have led to him being an odd killer.
I don't think so. I think he's just, his brain's wired a certain way. And so I do think that, like, maybe he was being punished early on in life, knowing that you're a predator, so you're going to get preyed on. Just like the dirty little filthy piece of shit he is. I don't know.
So what is he doing in Boca? Or is that just a false address?
What do you mean?
The business is out of Boca.
Yeah, but the mailing address is out of Florida. I mean, excuse me, New York. But yeah, you know, I listened to this fucking retard. the thing is, though, is Bren was intelligent. He's somebody you could have a real debate with, and he could challenge your opinions or assumptions. When it comes to even Roger, I don't think he's stupid. I don't think he's nearly as smart as he thinks he is. And not the last time he blocked me, but the time before that, I was saying how, like, look, I'm more intelligent than average. Maybe, you know, this was even when I had to do the standardized tests in school and all of that. You know, I'm in the top 10 percentile. So 1 out of 10, you know, okay, you're smarter than average. It's fine. Like, am I somebody who's 1 out of 100? That's still quite a jump. You start looking at the 1 in 1,000, 1 in 30,000, 1 in 100,000. You know, you're looking at people that are just in a whole different range than you. I have never claimed to, like, be one of those people. But, you know, yeah, I mean, Roger is way more intelligent than JB. And, you know, Roger, I think maybe has his own issues, and he does this for another reason. He's somebody who, I think Roger I don't think he actually is a genuinely bad guy that's trying to use people. I think he is passionate about his opinions, but he does this troll, but the troll doesn't work because of who he is in real life. But JB's a whole different story. He's just this goddamn parasite that wants to get attention and use people. It's just all about him. There's no ideology. There's definitely no cause greater than him. It's just about him. And, you know,
I will say he has been pretty nice, though. Not discounting the whole kiss ass of people, but it's generally been.
But that's what predators do. Do you think a child molester, for example, what is grooming behavior? How do they groom you?
You think he was grooming the whole room?
No, I don't think you get how these people work.
No, I get.
They soften you up. Hold on. They soften you up. You gain a child's trust, for example. You give them gifts. You make them feel very comfortable being around you. That's grooming, and then you do the dirty shit. Pimping is rather similar. You know, quote unquote, the game of pimping it's like you're literally emotionally manipulating these people. And it's a job that only sociopaths like Jay would have. But Jay's like kind of different from a lot of sociopaths. He just has these such strong narcissistic traits that he cannot help himself but for them to continue. And the reason I laugh about him is like, watch, he's going to do the same thing tomorrow, the next day, the day after that, and the day after that. Why? He cannot control himself. That is how his brain is wired. A therapist cannot rewire his fucking brain. He can't change. And so this manipulative piece of shit is going to continue being the same way he's always been. I mean, you know, it's like, I don't want toxic spaces. Why'd you open up a space and talk about me, you stupid motherfucker, with your goddamn dentures, you piece of shit? No, I don't know that he has dentures. You know, I like to troll with the truth.
What'd you do to piss him off earlier that made him get that room?
Oh, no. He was... long story short, I put a PTR of Roger, you know, and a few days ago, he said, oh, he's doxing him, he's doxing his family, Motherfucker, I've been asking you for a few days, in order for your narrative to stand true, you need to show that I was doxing anybody. Tell me at one point where I said Roger's real fucking name on a clubhouse stage. You cannot do it. In fact, show me where I gave anybody's real name on a clubhouse stage. Where did I give family members' names? Where did I give social security numbers? Where did I give out any of the shit that you were trying to claim? You got $1,000. Where is it? I know you were trying to hype up your room saying, oh, we're getting it. You know, John Kitover has it. Where is it, motherfucker? You don't have it. I'm fucking doxed anybody. You stupid fuck. Everybody knew Roger's real name from season fucking 1. They knew about the goddamn interview that he did. And despite the fact, that's how I found out about his goddamn interview. And nobody, and you know what's funny is you had people like Jane, you know, on this app, Rosenzweig, I forget her last name. She is not a fan of mine. She like completely disagrees with me. You look like Scotty. There's a bunch of people from season 1 that are like, no, that's not doxing. It's common knowledge who the fuck he is. And he went and did a public fucking video with another large member of Clubhouse, and I screenshotted it, blacked out his fucking name, and put it in my PTR. That's not doxing. He put all of this shit out there publicly on the same platform where I ended up using his fucking PTR, and you're gonna tell me that's fucking doxing.
It sounds like Jay is just a fucking weirdo. We gotta get more understanding on how he took over that club. Because
we don't know the details. We don't know the details.
Well, how the fuck would Brent get kicked out? Because
we're all asking ourselves the same question, because none of it sits well, and you can tell that like every time Brent is brought up, we get to hear Jay say, "Oh, you need the fake judge." You know, there's like this contempt he has for him.
Is he a drunk though? Has anyone confirmed that?
I don't know. But it doesn't matter. Like, here's healthy debates. Okay, look. If it wasn't for JB, healthy debates would literally be like still like getting in between 50 to 100 people today. They have 30,000 plus people. All of it, especially as non-blacks that exist on this app. You know, I don't mean this in a racist way, but especially as non-blacks, because non-blacks tend not to go into the dark side. You guys all know this. You guys will all agree with that are black. Okay, and so like those of us that are not on the dark side, but like to have like political discussions and that kind of shit, we're all familiar with healthy debates. And so we'd go into these fucking rooms. And it wasn't necessarily because we liked Roger, which, by the way, Roger was not a bad mod, but he would act like an asshole often, and he'd portray himself in a way which he was, you know, it's not.
I don't know. I don't think Roger was that bad, honestly.
Maybe not. He said that.
An asshole a little bit more than Roger. I've seen him snap.
Who?
Kelly was the worst. Do Kelly?
Yes, Kelly. Yeah, they were a power. Yeah, sure. They were a power couple, and Kelly.
Power couple.
They were. Yeah, that was his attack dog. Absolutely.
Attack? What the fuck?
But even Kelly is somebody that I would say. She would say, "I swear, Pepe, if you don't shut your high pitched voice," and I'd say like, "Shut up, bitch," and then she moved to the goo. And then she'd like invite me up like right after she got done talking. Like she was somebody who she was kind of had a sense of humor, and she kind of got what I was doing, but she she had her boundaries, and she still she would be kind of like a bitch.
She's more of a I feel like she's truly like an unhinged egomaniac.
No, I actually don't think so. I don't think.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think she was a bad person.
Interpreting, but she actually seemed like actually a little nuts to me.
No, I don't think she was. I don't think.
Definitely more nasty than anyone. I don't think Roger was actually nasty to people, but he gets some retards he got to set straight. But Brent sometimes has been pretty nasty to some people.
Well, sure. I mean, we all have.
No, but like.
No, Brent is an arrogant gay fuck. That's all he is. Who resents the fact that he gets it up the ass all the time.
All right. No, we're not gonna trash Brent on my fucking stages.
Yeah, well, we have
different opinions. It's fine.
The most notable thing about Brent is his claim that he was on a part of a non-profit or something that disseminated that had access to $60 million a year to promote gay issues. And to me, that's what's notable, because that's $60 million to promote all of this stuff we get in schools, et cetera, et cetera. That was a few years ago.
I thought the most notable thing about him was that he's a current sitting federal judge in the
Yeah.
freedom or something. That seems more notable than all the pro gay stuff, but that's quite a bit of money to promote unreasonable amount of homosexuality in society.
But a federal judge.
Yeah, he claimed that he claimed he was like a sitting.
Yeah, okay, but my dad's a retired federal judge, and my stepmom's a current federal judge, and I'm just saying, like,
I mean, that's
they don't make that much, but they make like definitely better than average. They're not wealthy. Like,
No, they get the donations from somewhere. It's not his.
no, okay, no, they're not in elected positions. In other words, they're appointed by a goddamn president. Okay, and they basically can serve for lifetime if they want to. It's not. They do not get donations. It's not an elected position, and it's at the federal level.
Well, those donations can be used on private endeavors anyway, so I don't think that matters, right?
Yeah, but they didn't. Like, my dad did not have to run. Like, he was not elected to be a fucking judge.
So did they kick Kelly out?
I think she has some of her own stuff going on. I wish her the best. The Kelly thing's kind of irrelevant at this point. But if you're asking me, my understanding, Kelly is kind of, she's going to be more in line with Roger. They were a power couple. They gelled well together. They did spaces. To be fair, they were in lockstep with each other. And I do think that Kelly, she does not, I don't think she has necessarily, I think there was a dynamic between her and Roger where they worked well together, but it was not necessarily something that this kind of chemistry, I guess you can say, was not something that existed between the other admins on the healthy debates.
I have a feeling there's something deeper going on here, because what the claims were, some of these people doing for work and the amount of time they do this stuff, right? But like what happened in healthy debates is they were going like pro-Trump, and then all of a sudden, as close as it gets to the election, they're trying to like switch everyone over to libertarian, and to me, that's splitting.
They did that.
They were pushing that.
Libertarian.
They were pushing the libertarian.
No, but no, because like Roger. No bullshit. Because Roger after October 7th was like, for the most part, like, fuck libertarians. Libertarians felt like they were not willing to. They didn't believe that Israel should be able to fight back, which even I'm critical of Israel. You could say I'm a Zionist. I believe the country should exist, but like, even I would say, like, oh no, Israel should do nothing in response. No, you have to like go after the people who did that, like, obviously. And I would say, I don't want to speak for him, but he did think that Israel should respond, which I would agree with. I mean, a lot of libertarians were against that. I guess I didn't see him going full liberty. He might not have voted for Trump, sure.
No, it was a tone of the political conversation in the room where it was majority conversation was pro-Trump. Then as it got exceedingly closer to the election, all of a sudden there was a hard line conversation change, as if to make people seriously consider the libertarian stance, where at that point It's just splitting votes and a little out of nowhere. I found it odd.
Yeah, I don't think he had any kind of like agenda, dude. I'm telling
I don't
you.
know. Maybe I'm paranoid. Okay, but
You can say you're paranoid, but this motherfucker. First of all, the Libertarian Party has like next to zero fucking pull in the United States. This is not some wealthy dude that like is changing the outcomes of local elections or whatever. He's literally somebody giving his own fucking opinion. Kind of like me. I have zero power to change the outcomes of elections. Unless I can like convince people, I guess that would be a way I could do it. But Roger is not. I do think he's giving his opinions, even though I think some of his opinions they may or may not be working against his best interest. I'd have to talk to him more, but I don't think he was I don't think he was doing anything nefarious. Like, libertarians they've been very well known for voting against Republicans and Democrats, especially over specific issues. I don't think that makes him, if he's a libertarian, he does not have like an allegiance to the Republican Party. Like, whatsoever.
I found the timing odd.
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying, Pepe, he doesn't have any allegiance to any particular party, and I think he at some point, and this is speculation, he made a conscious decision. It's either one of two things. He decided that it was better for him as a libertarian to align with the Democrats as opposed to the Republicans, seeing how libertarians for a long time did align with Republicans because at least they were closer than Democrats were to what libertarian goals were. But I think it also could have been that, he just decided that he was going to get more people into his room if he aligned with Democrats, or that he was going to get more people in his rooms if he aligned with black people. And I think that the last option is probably the closest one. Now, again, this is speculation, but I do know this is a guy who had, at one point he had a room that went for 7 or 9 or 10 days straight. And so he's heavily invested in Clubhouse, and that may be his motivation.
But that's the funny part is that as you know, I've been opening up rooms more lately, even though I was always kind of like I would take breaks, but I would participate in other people's rooms. And then maybe a couple weeks ago, there was like a streak where I opened up a few rooms. The last few days I've been kind of doing it, but it is way, 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 way different from when I opened up rooms before. It's like, you open them up in your house, amazing. It's like right before you go live, because you remember how, I don't know if you remember this, you had to, when you opened up a room before it would only be open to members of the house, but then you would go live to the whole app. But it's just like you get 40, 50 people in your room in under a minute, and it's just, it's like, oh, okay, like, we'll keep on going. Then they changed the app so much a couple years ago where they didn't want it to be, like, content creator friendly, and the owners of the app, they were pretty much, like, upfront about that. And so that was, like, the last mass exodus, and like I was spending time on X Spaces. I didn't really want to go through like all of the work of like trying to make a name for myself on there. It was, I've been doing this shit for years. I was like, I guess you could say, could make a name for myself on the platforms that I was on, but it's also like people have been a lot more radicalized in comparison to when I first started. Like, people were always calling me the fucking Nazi, the white nationalist, the horrible, evil racist, all of that stuff. And then, like, I go onto X and it's just like, goddamn, I am like milquetoast compared to these dudes.
Pepe, the Overton window has shifted a lot since you started on Clubhouse.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Especially the 2 years before, or a year before I started on Clubhouse, it has shifted so much. It's just like, no, like how, like I can go on to X and it's just like, it's just like you literally have like the JQ room. It probably has a few hundred people in it at any given time. You have the neo-Nazi spaces. I don't know if they so much have as many, but it's like still a few hundred. You have the other alt-right spaces. You have like the more like right-wing Jews. You have it, and you don't have much in the way of left-wing content. It could just be my algorithm, but and then like I would go and the only people I would kind of like talk to the people in the neo-Nazi spaces and even the JQ spaces a little bit, but then I just got they're like so fucking retarded that I just like good riddance with you fucking people. Like you're gonna go extinct. As long as you guys go extinct, I think the white race will be better. And then we have like I'd go into rooms that were they would sometimes get big, but even like Jared Spencer would go into them. Other people, they were right-wing Jews. Where there's a lot more like we see things kind of more similarly to each other, but it's just like
Pepe,
this populist racist, like and at times anti-Semitic, or even largely anti-Semitic movements that you see are just so like they're so like I don't know how else to put it, just like low IQ. You can talk to these people, try to give them facts, all of this stuff, but it's just like kind of like how like black nationalists are. Like because a lot of them are fucking retarded.
But Pepe, I think what you're missing.
They just they will not actually take this information and utilize it whatsoever. It doesn't matter. The facts don't matter. They feel a certain way. Go ahead.
I think, Pepe, that you don't recognize that the right-wing griper types, they have no institutional power in America. They're like a sideshow. They're a joke. Whereas the leftist anti-Semites that you see on Clubhouse, they have institutional power, right? If you go to the wealthiest donors to leftist causes, they agree with the leftist anti-Semites. So the leftist anti-Semites are ascendant. They're more and more powerful, and the right-wing anti-Semites are kind of a joke. Like no one takes them seriously.
Yeah, but I would say this: the right wing. There are a lot of memes that have been. There are a lot of memes I've seen that have been going around for the last few years. Just like you hear like a leftist. So let's just say like you're a Nazi or a neo-Nazi, whatever, and you hear like a leftist woman, and she's describing what is wrong with the Israeli lobby or Israel or whatever, and even Jews, and then it's just like a right-wing guy overhearing it, and it's just like she comes from heaven. I like that.
They all sound the same, bro. They all complain about the same shit.
I mean, to an extent, but I would say that there is like this reality that exists with the ones that are not like, I guess you say like really dumb, that the left, at the end of the day, any convergence of interest that you see with the left when it comes to things like, let's say Palestine or in Israel, these people are the same people who will also say that like, oh, America, that's just a land that was brutally colonized, and it was built on stolen land by stolen people. Like your origin story is so goddamn evil that the whole construct behind America and what it means to be American and the American identity needs to be erased and changed. In fact, you guys are not. You don't even really exist. In fact, Pilgrim, go back to Europe. It's pretty much the same. it's the same thing you'll hear about, like, Israelis. Like, these people are like they're the natural enemies of the far right. And like, I do think it's silly when I hear, people that are on the dissident right that have been cozying up with Islamists and, these leftists. They do not share the same fucking goals as most of these people. But hook, line, and sinker, so many people on the dissident right have bought into, like, especially the garbage narratives that come from the Arabs, or Muslims, I should say.
Bro, you agree with half of them. And Pepe, they only agree on certain issues, all relating pretty much to Israel and some form of Jewish control in America.
Well, I would say
it's not like the far right is like, yeah, we need to also convert everyone to Islam. At least I don't know.
Sure. So if I talk to somebody who's like anti-Israel, one of the things I'd say, like, dude, I'm sick of seeing Western countries being inundated with your people and how you behave in our countries. And they'll say, bro, if only you went against Israel, they would not have to leave their countries, bro. They want to stay in their countries, man. That is such fucking bullshit. Like, Pakistan has nothing to fucking do with Israel. These Pakistanis, you can say, like, the trouble is kind of invited by, I guess, the Britain's colonial expansion into southern Asia, but it's like, no, it's not the same fucking thing. Like, to blame Jews for all of the fucking problems, what's really weird is I see the same fucking people that are pro-Palestine, literally the same people, go into rooms that have a progressive Western audience and tug on their fucking heartstrings. And I'm sorry.
You do the same thing. Like, you'll be in my rooms, you'll go to other people's rooms, and you'll agree with both of us, and we're like on far different sides of the spectrum.
Well, sure, but
I'm talking about, like, yeah.
Sure, but what do I ultimately say should happen to Muslim people in the West? I've said this a million times.
I'm not saying, like, your view on Muslim aside. I'm talking about the thing that bridges the left and the right and you is the common criticism of the Israeli lobby or something Israel does or whatever quote-unquote control in America. And that's the same thing you're complaining about, but you literally agree with just those specific points.
Well, I do think that like Israelis, not Israelis, I would say Zionists are willing to really center Israel far more than I think is probably good for them, because a lot of us, including myself, we think it's very obnoxious. And with evangelical Christians, with their end times prophecy, they don't care about how it looks. What they care about is their religion, end times prophecy. Now you get Jews who are Zionists, and are they obviously biased? Of course. But with me, it's just like, okay, like I do not believe in giving Israel like any real preferential treatment. I don't, and I'm saying this as somebody who supports Israel. Like, I'm not going to, at the end of the day, things might not even play out much differently, because I would support Israel over most of the people they've been fighting, but it's just like, okay, look, dude, we have our own country. This is our identity. Your identity is not tied to ours.
You're a tool for them, bro. As simple as that.
Well,
Not you, sorry. I just mean, like...
No, I mean, it's more complicated than that. Like, we kind of used each other.
Yeah, you can even say it that way. But it's like, I think what you and some American nationalists have is maybe they're far-reaching and using America too much, putting it in danger, and just doing things with our
I don't
laws
know.
internal.
It's just, I do think the Shah of Iran kind of touched on this very well. And it was just, he was, I forget the name of it. He was an iconic news person at the time. He interviewed
60
Shah of Iran.
minutes.
Yeah, and he was like, first he asked him the question, like, do you think that the Zionists are kind of, they're creating a problem in the United States where his argument was basically like, yeah, they're just doing too much. Is it eventually, are they going to get sick of it in America? And I do agree. I do think they do too much. Now, when it comes to the Palestinians, the same interview, he said, well, they're committing terrorism. Like, who's going to stand by that? That's only going to hurt their cause. Nobody's going to stand by that. Any, basically reasonable, moral fucking person is gonna be like, nope, can't tolerate that. And so when it comes to the Zionists, I feel like, yes, this shit is shoved in their face way too hard. But I do not look at like the rhetoric that I hear from the pro-Palestinian side as, in fact, it is so much worse than the Zionist side. I mean, I go into rooms like Amir's. We can't agree on like even basic facts that we know happened.
I would agree with. I'm banned from Amir's room for life, and I'm Palestinian. That guy is not fucking. I know what you mean, because there's elements of that in his room, though, of that annoying shit you're talking about. But that motherfucker is just retarded.
Well, yeah, it's. See, like, I don't have a problem with Jewish people or the state of Israel. I just. Do I think they try to. I do think there's, like, way too much pressure and propaganda that comes from the supporters of Israel, which a lot of them are, like, in reality, evangelical Christians. And that's kind of like their foothold here.
Here's the thing, though. I mean, the pressure is different. There's pressure on both sides of this. Every side of it is putting pressure. You have the fucking college kids on campus running amok, doing crazy shit, protesting the street. You have people, interrupting whatever plays and theater, whatever, whatever activism shit they're doing. And then you have the pro-Israel pressure, which is a little bit more systemic. Like, their response is like the room you made yesterday. That's some pressure they're putting on, right? Like, there's examples of the pressure they're doing. And I get it. Like, there is annoying pressure on both sides. But I think that there are different kinds of pressure.
Well, I mean, so with the room I made yesterday, first of all, I'm going to say, like, Jonathan Greenblatt is this bald-headed faggot that looks like a fucking alien. I mean, they are so heavily skewed left. Abe Foxman, I don't really have much to say about him, but it's kind of like when they focused on just like outright Jew hate and not this political bullshit and like racial dynamics outside of the Jewish, community. Okay, fine. Like you're an advocacy group for your own people that will try to combat hate towards your group, and that's really all they would focus on in the past. Okay, fine. Amazing. I really can care less that you guys do that. But then you have people like Jonathan Greenblatt who adds this like very progressive bend in his leadership, and what he defines as being hate, or what he considers to be acceptable speech. Like this, I can't describe in words how much I despise this piece of shit. When it comes to the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism, I do think it's very vague. I do think that, like, you should, when it comes to, for example, debating religion, if somebody was to say that, like, okay, the Jews killed Jesus, I don't quite look at it that way, but there are going to be people that do. Should you be able to, like, argue religious differences? Sure. Should you be able to say that, like, I think, even though I disagree, that Israel is like this state that colonized this region, and they committed the original sin of colonization, much like how leftists will paint, the United States, Canada, New Zealand, Australia as being like, these colonizers that are absolutely horrible. Sure. I mean, I don't think, I'm not going to give a special, I'm not going to make one group of people exempt when they'll make the same argument towards us. And that's kind of like why I just feel very uneasy with it. As long as, and a lot of people say, like,
the leftist weirdos are weak. Like, in terms of power and Congress, they might have support online, but they're weak as fuck in terms of getting policy, supported in Congress. On the other hand, the pro-Israel side seems to be a lot more successful at it. And, I mean, I think some of the nationalists, or whatever you want to call them, far-right people are just probably like, these fucking Islamists and communists are probably not going to, cause us much problems going forward. So when they're applying pressure on people with influence in politics, they're probably going to go for the pro-Israel side. And then rhetoric-wise on Twitter, of course, they're going to be shitting on both of them.
No, I agree. I think it was like a paid content creator, or somebody who had, like, let's just say, like, a show on TV, or even if I was a politician, like, I would not, there's no way I could feasibly say the things I'm saying without causing, like, huge backlash. I completely get that.
I think I figured out what Jay's doing. He's doing OnlyFans. Not himself, but for others.
It's good money in OnlyFans.
Well, that would explain this house. You said this house was a piece of shit. This house is coming back. It's registered to him. Sold for 1.83. This shit.
All right, enough. Before I have to, like, send people to the goo and mute people, like, Jesus
I'm not
Christ.
doxing them, but I'm just.
No, but it's just, like, so off topic. We're talking about something else.
Looking at that shit on Zillow.
But I mean, realistically, so there's a couple things that, like dissident right-wingers don't understand. This is that the enemies of America, this is the one thing they don't want to accept, is that the enemies of America are the ones that are literally attacking Israel the most at this point in time. Like, that is, they understand that, like, what's happening in Israel is, like, it's very contentious. A lot of people they're very divided on their feelings. This is an issue where they're going to end up, like, trying to propagandize us in a million ways on social media, and they're going to get us to not support Israel.
Who are the dissident right? Like, if you could be a little more specific.
It is such a hodgepodge of people that it's...
Like white nationalists, maybe anti-Semites,
white nationalists,
Nazis,
rapers, Nazis.
You could make the argument, if you're on the right wing, that those people are enemies of America too. Because if you're part of a group that's one of the groups attacking Israel, which would be the Groypers, the Nazis, the white nationalists, is that an enemy of America too? You want to completely change America?
I don't necessarily look at it like that, but when I'm talking about foreign influence, there is a lot of there's albeit he is Jewish. He's a guy. We had maybe like 3 weeks ago, very early in the morning. I had like a 2-hour conversation with him on the phone. He's a guy who would make very big spaces on X, and he's an officer. I believe he's still an officer in the Canadian military. I also believe he served for the IDF.
Are you talking about Yehuda?
Yeah. Oh, goddamn, I shouldn't have said that.
That's
But,
not
like,
his name.
I know, but that's his public-facing name. It's the only reason I'm like, kind of like, all right, I'll acknowledge it. But he is like, okay, so I didn't. He kind of let me. We were talking. He was asking me like, do you know what the main goal of the propaganda and the influence that the malevolent actors online will? What is their ultimate goal? And I remember. I don't know this. He has a little bit more experience in this area than I do, and he was saying, well, basically, like, it's to make it so that you question everybody, look at everybody as like untrustworthy, like a bad guy, and then you just kind of remain neutral, so you don't you don't vote, basically. And it's a way of pacifying Americans. Like, that's been the strategy.
Divide and conquer.
That's why left does the same thing. I know what you mean. They'll say, like,
Sure,
don't
but
vote for
Russia,
me, you
but
can't do it.
countries like Russia, they do this on both sides. And so their goal is, and I had to look this up afterwards. I mean, he has a lot. I'm just gonna say here, like, I'm being humble. He's a more intelligent guy than myself. He's somebody who's, obviously has his security clearance and has different experience than I do. But just looking into it, I mean, that he was right. That is kind of the goal of when it comes to countries like Russia, when it comes to basically trying to make it so that you will not trust either side, and you'll just become like docile. You will not trust either party, which I thought was interesting. I didn't know this existed, or that was the intent of their propaganda. I learned something new a few weeks ago. But I mean, like, even when it comes to
for sure, he definitely did. So,
the Palestinian side,
but he's been on it for a little bit. I wouldn't say like even a year, maybe just in the last 6 or 7 months.
My
I've seen him
biggest
on here.
problem is I've never had.
And same shit every time with him.
It's really weird how it ends up playing out.
At least they comment on roofs. That meter guy won't even comment on roofs because he knows he'll get demolished. He wants to keep the narrative on his behalf. Like, he wants to keep the ball in his court. And
we'll ask them questions. We'll ask them to like verify something happened, or that something did not happen. They did not do a particular thing on October 7th. They can't do it. And then they end up insulting me. They end up calling me like a stupid Shavoscoin, whatever fucking language they like to use. And it's just like, okay, but like, are you telling me that none of the people that Nova Music Festival were killed by Hamas? Really? It was all by an Apache gunship? Is that really what we're going with? And I'll ask them about what happened in the kibbutzes. Are you telling me those were not, like, that was not Hamas, that those were, Israelis that were posing as Hamas that were just shooting up their civilians in order to have a justification for the war. I mean, like, you have to understand, like, this is so far-fetched that, like, it's just like, okay, well, where's your fucking proof? Like, we saw these Hamas fighters fly into the Nova Music Festival. They obviously were not coming there to party. I mean, and even on this app, there were people that I didn't know, but that people I know that were, like, taken hostage and literally killed by these people. It's just like, and today, I should say, I have not had like an honest conversation with one pro-Palestinian person. And that is like the biggest hang-up with pro-Palestinian side. Like, how you guys can't like persuade me that if anything that fits your narrative. I think whoever the guy was arguing with
So why not just make a different room? Is there a way to get paid from running these rooms?
On here?
Yeah, like, yeah, why?
Back in the day, if you could make like big rooms and you were not like controversial, for sure.
But what would be the incentive for someone to take over a fucking whole room? Just a personal cloud?
I have no idea.
You can get paid on chatter for your room, so
Dude, I've been doing this for like several years in a row. Like, I'm somebody who literally never made like did anything on social media. The pandemic hit. It's just like, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and do this shit. It was like it was like I'm somebody who was like going to the gym every fucking day for a few hours, and then all of a sudden like, oh, I'm at home. Amazing. I'm bored. I can't like spar with anybody. I can't do any of this shit. Okay, fuck it. I'm just gonna like talk about things that I find interesting. So I would find like ways to. I would go on to like using my real name, all of that shit. I would go like there would be local news stories, national news stories. I would make my comments, argue with people on there. Then I end up like graduating. I was on Reddit as well. Then there's a site called Omegle, and I was just like, oh, okay, like these people are randomly matching up. You just get to like put in what do you want to like have a debate about, and they match you up. And then I would put in a bunch of random things, and I would debate with people that either wanted to fight with me or not fight with me, or they're on my side, whatever. And then I noticed a lot of them were also Discord servers. Like, what the fuck is Discord? And so I joined.
Got banned, right? I think that I
yeah, it's just like now it's like Omi TV or some shit. It's like another company kind of took their name, but so I would go on Omegle. And I discovered Discord, and then I went on Discord, and the first one I joined was like the largest like political Discord. It's literally called Politics. I go on there, and you had people that some like I got to do like debates with famous YouTubers, all of that shit. And people were like not pinging me, but they were sending me messages to like, oh, come to Clubhouse. They'd like you here. Then I'd go on the app, I was like, this is weird. And then, like, for whatever reason, I came on there a few years ago, and then I was like, oh, this is kind of different from Discord. It's like, one of the biggest problems we had on Discord is that you had a lot of like 18, 19, 20-year-olds, which are just like the biggest pain in the ass to deal with. But then on here, you don't really have that problem. And so I remember coming on here, I was kind of doing my usual shtick, where I was, had my controversial beliefs and my moderation style that I had on Discord, and I think it was just like right place, right time. I had people like Mon, who would she's like a person that's been on here since season 1, and she's, been on the black side of the app for so long. She'd kind of like tell me like, oh hey, like with this person, you probably don't want to say this or that, or you want to change how you navigate around him. She was kind of like, I had this person who had a lot more experience on this app who in a way could guide me to like where I could keep quiet, like when or when not to do like my thing. And like, so like without her, like I obviously I would not be the clubhouse celebrity that I was. And she's also like the person that would say, she would ping me into these rooms, and they were like all black spaces, literally 100% black. And I'd be the only white guy. She'd like come up on stage, and like, what the fuck? And then she'd invite me up. And then like, what was really weird is like these people, like these content creators that were black, kind of realized, he's kind of just like a troll a little bit, and they were actually like really nice to me. And then their audience warmed up to me, and it's like Black Clubhouse ended up basically liking me. They were the majority of the people that would, kind of support me coming to my room. And so I don't know. It's just like in a way I would say it's like right place, right time. I met the right person.
Because he's Mexican, so.
Amazing. So what happened? So I spent like a couple weeks on here. I remember that like when you go into these black rooms, they'd say like, you can be trolling again. He's trolling. You would get black people who would, let's say I was talking and a black woman overtalked you. They'd say, shut your goddamn white ass cracker, you can't hear this black queen speak. Who the fuck are you? Whatever, who's you, or however they would turn it. I think that is. Yeah, so, Bruce, you drunk motherfucker. Bruce, how many parties have you had today?
The thing is, I'm the only white guy here.
Yeah, okay, shut your cracker ass up.
Exactly, I'm the rural cracker.
Okay, so you're gonna go. Yeah. Uncrypt, shut the fuck up. As my friend was, I'm not a crip, obviously. So like, goddamn, I don't remember what the fuck I was saying.
Do you want to receive
Fucking faggot, man.
We were talking about how black kids respond to such a way.
Oh yeah. So like, after a couple of weeks on this app, I was like the beauty of whites and whiteness or some stupid shit. And then Sig, one of the first people I met on this app, he's a black guy. And the very first person I met on this app was Epimenides, I heard some weird Greek being. He's like a Jewish right-wing person. And so, that's how I got introduced basically to Jewish Clubhouse and the conservative Clubhouse. But, so anyways, I was used to being treated a certain way. Sig was like, yeah, dude, I'll make a room with you. And so I made like a room that wasn't in the house. And there's like, all of a sudden there's like 200 people in there. And the fucked up part is that Sig is the one who lost his account that night. Because he was the coon who dared open, you know, a space, you know, with such a title. And then there was I forget her name, but she had a house called White People. It's like WYPIPO.
KB.
KB. She gave a bunch of people admins in there. So like Andrew Meyer is a fucking admin. So I have a couple hundred people in my room and he would boom it. So I'm just like, fuck it, I'll just do White America. That's basically how it started.
I thought it was because Prince opened up a house of Black America, and then that's what prompted you to do White America.
No, he did that way after White America was like a big room. Or house or something.
And do you fuck with black people?
What?
Do you fuck with niggas?
I don't know what that means.
What kind of question is that? Holy shit.
Inside, do you like them as people? Nice translator, bro.
Well, Ian's never said anything racist since I've been on this app.
I've never
I mean,
so this is my first time.
Monica is somebody who, like, she is kind of like, is that really what you're trying to say? And so, like, you can question her, but Ian's not one of those fucking people.
I just want to know if she like black people. Shit. She in a white man room, so I think it's a fair question. But fellas, so I take that.
I enjoy kind, genuine human beings. How about that? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that answers my question. You fuck with crazy?
Well, there was a hood rat on this app who, excuse me, 'cause I'm eating. So she's a hood rat. She got dragged by the black clubhouse. Now, she needed a place to stay, and gave her a place to stay. And she was not.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give too many details, but like Anne let her in. Is a black woman, obviously.
It's in her house, in her real home?
Yes, yes.
Oh.
So she met with a clubhouse guy, black guy, and then shit didn't work out. There was a lot of drama behind that, which I'm not going to get into, but Anne let her in to stay at her house, and she was even the black side of clubhouse that it's like Herm. He's had her in her room. He's a criminal defense attorney. He's been doxxed so many times. He's been in the news, and he's a real fucking attorney. He's not, a clubhouse faker. Like, everybody's kind of laughed about it because it's like she was acting ratchet and fucking ghetto. That whole situation was not good.
No, she basically had you let someone into your home, and did they end up doing you dirty at all, or was it cool after?
We're fine. No. We're fine.
I see.
Yeah.
I love Clubhouse, man. And will let me stay at her home if I ever hit rock bottom. So I love you, man. That's amazing.
Oh shit, John Kickner in the building, man.
My Arab sister.
Fuck that guy, man. just soccer, man. But,
Hey, what's up with you? If I hit rock bottom, you think I could get an extra couch or something?
Yeah.
Damn, see, all the homeless people really just need to get on Clubhouse.
A lot of people don't realize this. Like my youngest brother, he got addicted to pills, and I don't know for sure. You know, I find like tinfoil with like black markings and shit when he came back to Arizona for a little bit. He was definitely addicted to opiates. Whether or not he used heroin or was hanging out with heroin users, I don't know. But you know, I had a friend Robbie that I met at the College Republicans Club, and his brother, you know, him and his brother went to like the best high school in Phoenix. It's called Brophy. All boys, and then on the same campus you have Xavier, which is all girls. And a lot of people may think this like sounds cruel, but it doesn't. If you've like ever had to be around somebody like my brother when he was like really addicted, he would steal my shit, pawn it. He just did a lot of shit. But basically my friend Robbie's dad would he had a chair out on the back patio. He would give him a remote and say, yeah, you can watch TV from like the outside, but you can't come in the fucking house. And I know like that sounds like holy shit, that's cruel. But any of you who've had to like really deal with somebody like this, it is. I don't think people understand how far they will go, like to get their drugs.
You got dope fiend in your house who just keeps fucking robbing shit all the time. I know someone who the parents let him build out half the garage. It was only a one-car garage, and they'd lock him in. There was a separate entrance though to that side from the garage, and that's where he lived in, even though there was another bedroom for him. They're just like, yeah, we're not dealing with that shit anymore.
It's difficult, man, especially if it's family. I had a friend who kind of tried that, and we let him stay on the porch, because our other friend just, yeah, man, we're not gonna let him in. He's gonna start selling all his shit. Happened in college. I can only imagine if it was a sibling. That'd be heartbreaking, man.
And I think that's one of the things, like, people don't realize that the homeless people that you often see on the street, I'm not going to say all of them, but
Yeah, family.
yeah, like okay, they're short term. Most of the homeless, the bulk majority of homeless people at any given time, you can hear about the people that live in their cars, but most of them, they'll stay at family members or friends. You know, they can do something. Because these are people that haven't worn out a welcome generally. But when you're somebody who's like in the throes of drug addiction, you end up basically wearing out the welcome of everybody. And so it's a gradual process where you can go stay with person to person. You generally just gonna start with family, but then it's just like you violate them too much. You're stealing shit. They're just like, well, okay, I can't do anything, and then you end up becoming homeless. And there is such very high rate of occurring, not just substance abuse, but also serious mental illness that a lot of this population has. And I go back and forth with this, because like I don't want to institutionalize people. And I have a lot of people like, I just don't want to fucking see them. Well, okay, but I also don't like want to violate their rights to the point to where like they're warehoused, basically imprisoned. But I do think I will say this, when I was a case manager working with seriously mentally ill adults in Maricopa County, like 20 years ago, we had like 90 beds allocated to Maricopa County. Now, today we have like over 4 million people. In order to get put into the state hospital, you had to do something super egregious. I was somebody who so happened to like case manage somebody who ended up getting sent there. And it took a lot for them to get sent there. But I mean, there are a lot of people that do need to be institutionalized, and I would even ask, as much as I don't want to institutionalize a lot of these people, at what point do you get to say that, like, you're killing yourself with drugs? Are we actually being humane by letting him do it in plain sight?
No, you have it. Let me give you an example. Frank was in a 10-year relationship, belongs in a lawsuit, ends up back in his parents' second house. It's fucking local with brother and sister around. And he's fucking living there. They say, well, these people are pushing their house, right? And he ends up getting high on like 60K saved, nothing to take from school, but nothing else, car, 60K. He goes through all that, just fucking blowing coke like every day, partying, eating gummies, and fucking just, whatever. He ends up getting the deal. We fucking bail him out like immediately at night. And then what do you think this is? CS? See that? See my face up there? My idea how it got there. Mom was watching us like a monster. We're checking it out here in the middle of the night. So this time, I got on at 7 a.m. I'm not gonna want to get into CPR. See, so what do you think this is? And it's like he bailed him out of jail. It's this close to him dying. Like he was in a coma for the day. He came back home, right? Yeah. And everything's back to normal. But like these people who are using drugs, like there's a kid in fucking middle school, I live on North Shore Long Island. There's so many people who are using drugs. Like it's not like, oh, they're doing a little bit of fucking, taking a little mushrooms, smoking some weed. They're fucking shooting dope and shit. Like, fuck, you need to lock this the fuck up. One of the guys that goes into the school, he passes away when like 30. I remember him at school, the mom to say sorry. She goes, what more can I do? I sent him to rehab since he was 18. Basically, on average, from 18 to 30, she sent him there for 8 months. They had the money to send him. 18 to fucking 30 every 8 months to get sent to rehab.
Well, I mean, the reality, locking them up doesn't really solve that problem. And I would say this, people still get drugs in prison. It should be shown the drug trade continues in prison. And so it's not, let's start out with some usual what's really hard is that
as soon as he went home the night, I was actually on the phone with him. It was the night we were talking about it. And I fell asleep with the phone on speaker. And I fucking wake up. And I'm like, oh God, his parents found out that he got the DWI. I thought he was getting yelled at. It's the commotion of his mom and sister freaking out. They're yelling, why is he on the phone with him? And I'm just listening like, oh shit. And then I realized something wasn't right. These people, out of their mind. You have to sit here.
I get what you're saying. Like, right, the biggest argument that even like, I don't know how much has changed in the last 20 years, but basically the message was that like, if you are, for example, if you provide housing for somebody that is like consuming drugs, or let's just say they're an alcoholic, they're enabled. Yes, and so if you're giving them comfort or refuge for them to do that, in a way you are kind of hurting them more, and when it comes to like even alcoholism. I mean, depending, a lot of it's varies by individual. Some of it is, you know, pretty genetic. But if you're somebody who's drinking like a super high volume of alcohol throughout the day, like you're literally destroying your body. You're letting them. You're basically enabling them to allow their addiction to kill them. And it's just like that. Sure, you would be hurting them and making them feel uncomfortable if you were not providing them with refuge, but at the same time, you're literally allowing them to kill themselves. And so, I would say that it is better to not participate in that. And I do think that one of the things that people don't understand, and I have liberal friends, like actual liberal friends, I'm not talking about like, a couple of them are progressives, but they would agree with me on this point, is that when it comes to you doing things that are wrong, that are harmful to yourself, to your family, whatever, there is like a point of pain you need to feel, or suffering, where it's just like, wow, I can't continue on. I have to change my ways. You know, and I do think that it's somewhat reasonable. You should not, and I think even progressives for the most part, I know a lot of them are about like harm reduction and giving them like needles and all of that shit, but I think a lot of them deep down, they agree that like if it was their child or family member or loved, any of their loved ones, they would not agree with just like allowing them to self-destruct in front of them and give them the comfort to do so.
Yeah, so these fucking libtards with their fucking legalized drug policy, I mean, it's just the average Democrat voting base it's so ironic because they try to fucking laud themselves as educated and smart and all this shit, but you really had to make weed recreationally legal when you can have 25 grams and it's a $100 ticket. I mean, how much less is that?
But I mean, how is weed? But hold on. But how is weed like?
It ties into this.
No, I don't think it does. I think alcohol's legal at every grocery store. But to be realistic, I would say alcohol is far more, literally, far more fun, far more deadly when it comes to what happens not only to your physical health if you're the person consuming it, but it so happens to become an alcoholic and you just fucking die. But like when it comes to fights and violence, how many people like smoke weed and they become belligerent? It happens all the time if you're fucking drunk.
How many people
But even then, it's just like
for years?
Huh?
How many people smoke weed and just waste away for years?
Well, we know that for a fact that happens with alcohol.
Yeah, well, whatever. I mean, I guess.
What my point is, though, is that how is it? First of all, you're trying to say that like marijuana is not bad. I'm not going to say that it isn't bad. Quite frankly,
whatever. LGBTs.
What I presented was for 29
Okay, so what I'm saying is I did not deny that there was some big that fatality. There was autopilot
count 59, including 2
autopilot is not
driving. Thank you. And causing violent use of that SSD. So, I don't know.
How much was it? How much was it?
Were you able?
All the countries in the EU, the Australia, they all had to backtrack.
There's no lie.
That just means you're retarded.
Well, that's just because you're nuts. If I believe it, it must be true. If it's not true, why do I believe it?
Because you might have like a tiny issue.
It would be pleasurable for me in fact dysphoric, if anything, I could say about my experience.
It could be the case.
But I mean, statistically, alcohol is absolutely far more fucking toxic to the body. And it produces far worse outcomes. It's just like behavior, why your body,
You're a hardworking guy, so that'll make it up for you.
I mean, from recording here, it does not get richer than this. Well, that's actually rich. Sure.
Hard work. You can tell them how to work hard.
Well, that's totally fine.
I don't do well with that ball.
It's fine. I'm just saying, maybe you don't see something a lot.
Political things that he says to me on his app. Now, going back to the John
Last one have, what's his name?
you know, because I
Rabbi, in all fairness, I do think anybody that learns the minutia of religion is like retarded because it's such like a low value investment of your time. I do think it's like a domain of like the working class and or just like dumb people. I don't.
I have no clue what you're saying, but I don't accept it. I legit have no clue what you're trying to say.
Like I don't know anybody that's successful in life that is like knowledgeable about scripture.
They don't know anyone who's successful who is knowledgeable about scripture.
Correct.
That's because they don't know anyone successful.
Yeah. That's because what?
That's because they don't know anyone successful.
That's an insane take. Like, what are you talking about?
Number one, how are you defining success?
Country club memberships. Like, yeah, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's how I live it here. What about having a happy family, a happy wife, happy life, what about having children, nigga?
Yeah, all the same people also have that.
Do you not think they're happy? Do you not think that they weren't shitting on them with Tyrell? And sometimes Tyrese? You don't think that?
I didn't even know what you said.
The typical hedge fund manager, do you think his wife is shitting on him with Tyrell and Tyrese? Or do you think she's not?
Not likely. You know, like it's funny to joke about that because it's funny, like cock stuff, blah blah blah. It's funny when somebody gets shit on, but like not in reality, I don't think that's happening.
So that's just the reverse.
I think that that life world is like a bizarre segment of society.
Okay, I'm just saying that's literally how I'm retarded. It's not only how you're retarded, Rico, but you're also sexually repressed. And you don't know what's out there in terms of the sex market. And this is how I know, because you think the hedge fund guy, his wife isn't like getting fucked by Tyrese. When the hedge fund guy literally only wants a whore. He doesn't even have time for one. He just wants a whore. Shit. Come on now, Rico, you should know better than that. You should know better than that, Rico.
Amazing.
So, do you know Agricorba?
Do I know who?
Agricorba.
I've heard the name.
Google that.
Why? Why don't you just tell me?
you learn how some men are actually knowledgeable about Florida, and they're pretty successful. But they also have what? They have one of the most important assets, which is a healthy family.
Okay, so there's always an exception to the rule. Congrats, thank you.
Okay, well, you're sitting all the way on your big jet that's fucking red. Trying to grab some ass, but you can't. Some people are gonna get all that.
I can't believe people don't think I get girls.
I don't think you get girls. At least not naturally.
Just because like a bitter ex in my own ear talk shit about me, like, doesn't mean it's true.
I'm not getting my information or my education from Isabel again.
You're, like, these opinions are heavily influenced by her.
No, they're not. They're heavily influenced by my interaction with your city ass.
Then I worry about you, I really do.
Your what?
Then I worry about you, if that's your perception of reality.
Why do you worry about me? Worry about McDonald's. I mean, haven't you heard what's happening recently?
Run that taco down?
Well, it's supposed to go tomorrow. It's find out. They got sued. Because apparently they're wiping their ass with the burgers. Like at the management level. It's not even a small thing.
They're wiping their ass with burgers?
Yes.
That's wild.
With the burger buns. When was the last time you ate McDonald's?
I try not to.
So this started in Charlottesville.
It's fucking crazy.
It is wild. But that's what you get. That's what it means to be American. You get to wipe your ass with burgers and get away with it.
Are you trolling or is this actually a thing that's happening?
No, it's an actual thing.
At this point, I can't even tell the difference anymore. Yeah, this is a troll. This is a retardation.
No, it's not. I just saw it. I'm going on my portrait app. With the press release section. Download the port app. Well, I'm pretty sure you can find it elsewhere. Download the port and you'll find it in the press release section of McDonald's. So it's at the management level, do you understand? That's pretty wild.
Yeah, America's a shithole.
Did you find it?
No, I can't find it, but in theory, if what you're saying is true, it's like America.
Well, why would I like it? I'm not even invested in it, so I figured, hey, instead of buying McDonald's, buy Coca-Cola because these niggas have like they have a contract with Coca-Cola. So instead of buying McDonald's, I buy Coca-Cola. They need to play the supply chains without bringing the US together.
What?
You need to play the supply chains without bringing the US together.
I'm gonna go back to bed because it's 1 in the morning.
Oh, you're such a good video. Such a good video. Instead of studying, we're doing something. I mean, right now I'm taking a break. That's the only reason I'm here.
Yeah, I just don't understand. Like, tonight bad, but you know, like, up to like 2 a.m. I'm fucking tired.
Yeah, I'm always doing that. place you guys have before?
This isn't making sense.
It's called resilience, nigga. It's called resilience and optimization.
Yeah, you're gonna need to sleep at some point, so I just...
I've been doing this for a month now.
Yeah, what are you doing? Sacrificing sleep?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna pay for it, your health.
Well, potentially. But until then, I'm gonna kick some ass. Because I still haven't finished I have to finish this chapter. And then I'm gonna go back to coding for a little bit. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go back to coding tonight, but it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of hard work. You're gonna have to work your ass off. If you want to be successful, like fucking great value, you better be willing to put half the work that he put.
You're aware that Ray Dalio is extreme and an outlier. You should measure yourself against that, right?
I'm not telling you to measure yourself against Ray Dalio. I'm telling you to measure yourself against Mark Zuckerberg. If you want to be something like that, you better have something to offer the universe.
Yeah, I'm okay with not being a multi-billionaire. Like, that's such like an extreme level of wealth. It's like not practical. Unless you have like everything going away.
That's what I want to be a multi-billionaire. And I want to use
That's
my
a great aspiration.
Yeah, I want to use my money in a philanthropy.
So I wake up at 40 and be like, fuck, like I just like wasted all this time.
My life has ended, and yours has just begun. You know the song?
I guess.
Yours has just begun. Promise myself not to do the things I've done. Well, it doesn't matter to me as far as I'm concerned. My life ended. And now, inshallah, I work to make a lot of money so that then I can spend the Torah in philanthropy and philanthropic work. And that's it. That's my life. Now my children can carry the torch and do something else. That's how I see it. It takes courage to sacrifice people. Do you have what it takes?
Yeah, I don't know if I do.
Exactly. There you go.
There's a lot of people who work their ass off and don't do anything for it. That's like I would say most of society.
Exactly. Well, especially in modern society, you are incentivized to do that. It doesn't matter. We're gonna tax you anyways. So why not actually not make anything? Exactly. You can't answer that. You know I'm right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed.
Go to bed, nigga. Go to bed. Sleeping has been your primary job. Go to bed.
Fucking idiots.
I mean, you're the one that said it's okay, Tom.
You're an idiot too.
No, you did. You said it was less.
I did say you wanted you.
Less, harmful than marijuana. You said marijuana is more harmful.
You can't even listen.
No,
I don't think he said that. He didn't say that.
This guy's fucking trolling.
Yeah, I didn't hear him say that. If I heard him say that, I would have really dug it out.
Taco, why do you think alcohol should be illegal?
It doesn't matter.
It's part of the culture.
Well, I would say harm reduction is part of the reason why it's not illegal. We are, like as Americans, given rights to largely choose your own destinies, and that will be to make like adult decisions on whether or not you want to, I don't know, drink alcohol, and then of course, depending on especially your genes, whether or not you're somebody who makes it a habit and you just keep on drinking more and more and more and more, and then you become like a full-blown alcoholic, and it has like these deleterious effects on your fucking health, and you die. I don't know. I mean, when we outlawed alcohol, I mean, it was kind of like creating drug cartels in America. You ended up having like the underworld bringing this shit all through, and did it really help? I don't really think so.
I still don't understand how people make this much money from all these things.
do know, people, I do know in the last few years, not people I know personally, like I would say we were friends,
like associates.
but I do know people that have died of like, that used opiates and they it was laced with fentanyl or some shit.
How many people have you lost to marijuana in your life?
Well, I mean, I haven't, I can't think of any
Have
losers.
you known anybody?
How many losers do you know that lost due to
Yeah, but no, but Taco, he's making a fucking point. Like, I've never known anybody who's died because of poisoning, because of marijuana. I don't know of anybody that, like, got belligerent because they were high on marijuana, and they're like, I'm gonna fuck this place up, I'm gonna kick that motherfucker's ass. That's not a marijuana thing. That is an alcohol thing.
Do you know anybody who smoked marijuana and lost their mind and had to go into the psych ward?
Personally, yes. But that was, but I also worked as a case manager with seriously mentally ill adults. So, but I mean, it's kind of like asking.
Well, how many people have you known that were alcoholics in comparison with the amount of people that have lost their mind from marijuana?
Yeah, I don't know if anybody has lost their mind for marijuana. Do I think that if you're somebody who's holy shit, if you're somebody who already has like I don't know, like bipolar 1 or schizoaffective disorder or schizophrenia, and you smoke marijuana, it's probably not going to work out for you very well.
Pepe, my question I'm trying to ask is like, how many people have you know have been self-destructive because of alcohol? Like